Young David knows exactly what he needs to do. He has binge watched hours upon hours of self improvement content, but he still can't find the motivation to do anything. Maybe just another video, he'd think to himself, or, you know, there must be a secret or something. There must be something that I'm missing, you know? David, young David is looking for a quick fix to his problems. Meanwhile, a slightly older David finds himself in the opposite position. He rarely consumes any content, and he focuses on taking action immediately. He focuses on getting stuff done immediately. He has his task list every day that he focuses on getting done. He never stops to reflect on anything that's happened because he sees it as a waste of time. I could be doing so many other things to better myself. These are the kinds of thoughts that he has. Now, it might seem like these two has completely opposite problems, but in reality, their problem is the same: an imbalance in the rhythm between thinking and doing. I did a video recently speaking about the issue with the put your head down and work mentality, right? If you haven't seen that, I suggest giving it a watch because you'd have more context for this video. But I'll have a card pop up here or here, whichever side it is, and you can come back when you're done. But many say that learning is a waste of time and that you should take action immediately, right? Get stuff done, right? While there's like some value in that, I do want to point out that if someone has spent 10 years doing a thing that you're trying to do or wanting to do, and they upload a video talking all about what they've learned over the past years, a video where they synthesize decades potentially worth of information, worth of experience down into a 10 to 20 minute video, is that not worth watching? The issue with taking action immediately that I discussed and was the idea that has developed that you shouldn't bother learning. It's a complete waste of time and you should skip it altogether to go start your trial and error phase. And while this is another way of learning, trial and error, it may not be ideal looking for someone who's looking to advance quickly, who's looking to reach their success. You have at your disposal countless resources to help you face and overcome problems, right? Are you going to let this priceless resource be left untapped simply because you can't control your urge to procrastinate? This goes back to the balance that I discussed in the video I mentioned before. Check it out if you're interested. The link's on our homepage. But just because it's hard to control, just because it's uncomfortable, are you going to miss out on saving possibly decades of your life? Now, you might think what you're doing a good thing by being proactive, right? It was always taught in school to be proactive, yeah? And not letting yourself have a chance to procrastinate. And for some of you, this will be necessary, right? For some of you, you will need this. You'll need some time. The responsibility you have over yourself and the weight of your actions, it may be too much at first, and many of us were never exposed to that. However, you will reach a point of diminishing returns with this, and to continue seeing results, you'll need to climb to the next level. You'll need to take on more responsibility, in the gym, when you add more weights to the bar or get heavier dumbbells. That's essentially what you're doing here. I have another video all about this, but when you have more responsibility, your actions have much more weight to them, and it may feel overwhelming. Now, just like in the gym, you may need to find a sweet spot, you know, between burnout over here and diminishing returns over here. Learn how to take on a healthy level of responsibility, one that isn't going to collapse your mental health. And the answer: how do you do it? Well, if you're currently stuck in this mentality, there's a solution, and I'll give it to you now. So this is for those of you who are already stuck in taking action without thinking or reflecting. The ones that are over here. Learn something and execute on it immediately. You've already developed the skill of immediate execution. Now it's time to introduce a new layer of discomfort. Learning. Many of you procrastinate when you learn new methods or things. You say, oh, I'll do it after the video, or after the chapter, or if you're reading, or when I'm done, essentially, etc. But no, just do it, right? Drop whatever it is you're doing, wherever it is you are, and implement what you've just learned. Otherwise, you haven't learned anything because you haven't experienced it yourself. All you've done is heard about this cool sounding topic. Sorry about that, boys. Allergies really kicking my ass. Without implementation, you have really no time to be invested in something, and therefore you're not really going to value the topic. Now, here it will help to understand the connection between value exchange and cognitive biases. And okay, I've done more other in-depth videos on it, but really quickly, people want to make the right decisions, right? This is more of the cognitive bias. Now, value is exchanged through three primary resources, and that is essentially time, money, and energy. When you spend one or more of these resources, we want to believe that we've made the right decisions, so we justify our action. This is also a part of buyer's psychology in marketing. I believe it's called like the buyer's justification or buyer's Stockholm syndrome or post-purchase, something like that. I'm sorry, boys. But due to these things and some other more complex bits that I don't have enough time to get into, we tend to overestimate reality. What we know, how much effort we use, how good we are, etc. This can lead to developing an ego and lead yourself to believing that you understand something despite having absolutely no experience with it yourself. And now I want to delve into the reasoning, or I know I delve into reasoning maybe for this stuff a lot more than some other creators would, but it's really essential to understand these things to reach that next level. Otherwise, you'll hit that plateau like a brick wall, and you won't know what just happened. I understand that this information may not get me viral, but I want it to be out there for anyone who sees its importance, who's looking for specifically this content, and for the people who want to reach the highest level possible. That's all for me. Stay on task.